Hey there, my name is Crystal Frankenberry. Welcome back to another episode of The Drop. Today we are discussing this docuseries on Netflix that explored the story of the founders of Juul, why they created this e-cig that went viral, how they had a mission to reduce the number of cigarette smokers in the world. And I have Judy joining me today to discuss this. And so let's go ahead and get into it. The founder story was very similar to that of other unicorn startups that have since revolutionized our tech industry. But just a quick history before we kind of get into it. Smoking really took off in the US during the first two world wars. And it wasn't until the 50s and 60s when medical reports started linking lung cancer with smoking. Then there was the ban of tobacco advertising in the 60s. Fast forward into the new millennia, states started banning smoking indoors, and it kind of became less socially acceptable due to the nature of secondhand smoke. But even though there was this decline in the growth of smokers, there were still over 43 million people smoking cigarettes in 2015. And that's when founders Adam Bowen and James Monsees started crafting their solution to make smoking safe. Their background in design and technology helped them create a product that was visually appealing, user-friendly, and technologically advanced. And they positioned themselves as a sleek and tech-forward alternative to traditional cigarettes. However, the flavors that they came out with and flashy marketing campaigns really attracted the attention of teenagers who had never used tobacco products before. Judy, thank you for watching and obsessing over this docuseries with me. I feel like we could chat for hours about all the complexities, but just seeing how kind of we're both in the business of marketing and creative solutions, I wanted to hear from you about the feelings this docuseries brought up.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Crystal. So for context, I don't indulge in any kind of vices, whether it's smoking, drinking, drugs, what have you. So watching this documentary with a fresh pair of eyes was quite interesting, albeit uncomfortable at times. One thing that did stick out with me was just the sheer power of marketing. So as Crystal had mentioned, vapes have historically been the super goofy and tactic kind of like tacky kind of an imagery whenever you think about it. Like you will see people inhaling from these huge containers and then they're just blowing out these huge plumes of smoke. Honestly, it was kind of dated. So when Juul came out, the image of vapes were transformed into something that was more modern, sophisticated, and this is reflected in their hip lifestyle oriented marketing. However, this was basically kind of like the beginning of their end, because even though their original intent was to shift existing smokers to an alternative, the lifestyle marketing tactic actually increased the number of younger smokers. So this was an unfortunate case study of how a solution designed with good intent ended up turning back into the very thing that they sought out to destroy. Now, if we take a look at another example, let's think pre-2000s, when owning an electronic was like something like a computer was thought of as geeky, or having a BlackBerry was solely intended for work. It wasn't until something like the iPod coming out, and then later on the iPhone, that revolutionized how electronic handhelds could be. Something sleek, modern, and ultimately for everyone. And I want to emphasize everyone, because when the iPod came out, they had the slogan of 1,000 songs in your pocket. Anyone could have this. And then when the iPhone came out, the slogan was then Apple reinvents the phone. So let's think about how our relationships with our phones and our devices have changed and how it is today. It's not something solely for work, and it's actually something that is for everybody. And essentially, it actually improved the livelihoods of everyone.
Yeah, I think two things that I'm hearing is one, that we have to remind ourselves the power of marketing and its potential impact that we can have on our audiences. And then if you look at something like an e-cigarette with nicotine, that addictive nature, iPhones even are addictive, right? We jump on social media and we have to scroll, and I think that there comes a big responsibility of companies in marketing and in tech to think about what kind of products they're creating and their potentially addictive personalities, and just really consider, how we address these complex issues. So I loved this docuseries. I loved this conversation. Thank you so much for joining in, and let us know what you guys think. But otherwise, we will see you next week on The Drop.
See you guys.